Hello everybody, this is Dino GTO, and this is just going to be a very quick run over of the details that were released from Wargaming Fest this year, the thing that happened in Moscow. I didn't know it was actually in Moscow, I just kind of was going to guess that, and I just saw it there, so yeah, lucky coincidence. Um, just going to go over these details here just quickly, just showing like all the things. This thing here, this bit here is basically a recap of the things they have done the last couple months in terms of buffing premium tanks. Like you can see the level buff here as an example, and yeah, so just general stuff like that. So no real reason to cover that there because you probably already know most of these changes. Now here's where it gets interesting. This is going to be potentially the first premium tank ever to feature the suspension change. The suspension mode that the Swedish tier 8, 9, and 10 vehicles can use. This might be the first ever premium to use that feature. Although a lot of people kind of assumed it would be maybe the E10, the basically maybe tier 5 or tier 4 version of the E25, which is a really weird looking little tank. It looks like a table or something. It's a really weird looking little tank. The tracks are like you see where these here kind of go up. It's like a trapezium. Invert that, and this bit here would be down here, and this bit here would be down here, and you basically have the E10. It's a really weird looking tank. But this thing here could be very cool. I suspect it'll probably have really crappy gun handling, but I'm not worried about this thing being overpowered because you have to go in and out of the travel mode in order to be able to use the gun very well. So yeah, not really worried about this thing being overpowered. 105mm gun, 288 pen. Yeah, that's a very powerful gun, but I think it could still be a very interesting machine to have in the game at some point. Although I would want to make sure that people have at least the tier 8, the UDES 03 before they're allowed to buy one of these, so they understand the game mechanic of like how to use the hydrodynamic suspension. You don't want somebody jumping in and buying this as the first ever premium and then having no clue what they're doing in it. Like if you think like some people buying the Lova and just being awful will be bad, like this thing here, people will be struggling to do any damage at all if they don't know how to use the hydrodynamic suspension. So if they can work that out, then I think this could be a very cool little addition to the game. And honestly, I think I would probably consider getting one because it looks really cool in my opinion. Although I hope they kind of do something here and like add something because it looks very weird with the like, pole just sticking at the front. So yeah. Um, this thing here scares the shit out of me. This thing genuinely scares the shit out of me. Here's why. The gun is kind of pointing into space for some reason. Hang on. Let's just put it roughly in the middle. Okay, there it is. Okay. Hang on, just raise it out of the way so because it's kind of in the way right now. Okay. If you want to tier it, I'm not even sure how to start talking about this thing. Actually, you know what? Not even start with the model yet. Just gonna start off with the general stats of this thing. It has a pretty bad aiming time, but it does 440 alpha per shot with a 225 pen and a 15-second reload. With 1720 DPM, but that is the highest alpha on a premium tank in the game. As far as I remember, I can't think of one that's higher. And it's the highest alpha of any tier 8 in the game other than tank destroyers and the OHO Farron AP, but the AP OHO you never see that because people just fire HE with that thing. So yeah, 30 rounds of ammo, really bad accuracy, still pretty damn fast. About I think it's almost exactly the same ability wise as an AS6. 6 degrees gun depression and not talking about the armor just yet. 1500 health, but 350 meter view range. So most of the other stats seem okay. But you would want, in order to balance this huge alpha, you would want to have crappy armor, right? Right? Um, yeah, I don't know who balanced this thing. All I know is that they didn't do a very good job. Um, if you're seeing those armor values, that's 320. This is a tier 8. This is a tier 8. Keep that in mind. This is a tier 8. Potentially a tier 8 premium. Are you seeing these armor values? What the actual fuck? And even if you're shooting down on it, this thing is ridiculous. Like, there's only like one little area here where you could actually pen it, maybe. And that's still that needs 236 pen. You couldn't pen this thing frontally with an E100, but you might be thinking, but the lower plate will be weak, surely. Um, hmm. If you're not at least tier 8, and hell, even if you are tier 8, you're not going to be able to pen this thing frontally. I don't. Like, this thing just has too much armor. It has too much armor for you to possibly even be able to pen. And you might be thinking, oh, but the Capolas will be easy to hit. Surely won't they? Let's just line this up roughly right, so they're about a gun length away. They're almost exactly the same size as the IS-6. And everybody knows who's fought an IS-6 knows how annoying these fucking things are to hit. And they're the exact same thickness too. And then the side armor is 100mm. Rear armor 90mm. Turret is absolutely godlike. It is absolutely ridiculous. This thing is basically like somebody took an IS-6 and an IS-3 and just fused them together, and this is the product. Taking the best of both things and then having a gun that's just ridiculous. That's basically an IS-4 in damage, but IS-3 in pen. So this thing will break tier 8 if they release it, but I did notice one thing weird when I was looking at the model. You know the way the spaced armor is typically the strongest part of a Soviet vehicle? Like if you shoot the spaced armor on an IS-3, it'll basically go into a black hole and never be seen again. Not so on this thing. I think this might be a bug. Because that's 30mm. That's like, considering every other time you're fighting one of these things here, one of these Soviet vehicles with this kind of space side armor, considering it's normally like ridiculous in terms of the amount of pen you need to actually go through it. I think this might actually be a bug or something because that's really really odd. It's like completely counterintuitive. So it's a very strange thing for them to have added, and plus it's not even that thick of a strip. It's like it's like the old IS-8 used to have a strip about this thick. It's not very wide. It's a very small strip. It's not that much of a weakness really, even if it is intentional, which I doubt it is. I really doubt that's actually an intentional weak point. But yeah, this thing has way too much armor. It has an incredible gun, 440 alpha per shot. That will just shred everything. And yeah, this thing will break tier 8 if they release it. They cannot possibly be considering releasing this thing in its current state. It will just break tier 8 completely. So, hopefully they aren't stupid. But the E25 thing they did earlier this week has kind of lowered my faith in that. I'm now afraid that they actually might release this motherfucker. So, yeah, that's troubling. But let's get on to the other stuff. In terms of the tech trees, they're making some interesting changes. The USA, for the USA, the T28 Pro, the T28, and the T95 are becoming more mobile. They're getting a speed boost, and they're going to be a bit more usable in the current meta of the game. So I suspect this thing might be able to do 20. This thing may be like 25 or 28. This thing here probably like 25 or something like that because it's got a turret. But yeah, a buff for these things is not too bad because they're basically useless right now. For Japan, the tier 9 and 10, I believe, as far as I understand, are basically getting 150mm guns with that can fire HE, because that's the main feature of the Japanese heavies from tier 6 to tier 8, is the fact that they can load HE with 150mm guns. So that could be very, very interesting, and I think their survivability might be being buffed as well. So that could be interesting to have. And I may actually go down that line if the tier 9 and 10 actually do get 150mm guns. Basically going to be 150mm howitzers, so not going to be like A100 150mm. They'll probably be howitzers and they'll probably have more pen than the E100s HE, but they probably won't have as good AP, if that makes sense. So, yeah, could be very, very interesting. The OA Experimental is getting rebalanced. It's losing some speed. And it's losing the 105mm gun that was just completely breaking tier 5. And it's getting some increased frontal armor. The OA is losing rear armor and is getting some changes to the 15cm gun it has, and the OHO is getting premium ammo for its 10cm gun. If you didn't know, the top 10cm for the OHO didn't have premium ammunition. It had 215 pen, which I think was like one of the lowest of the tier 8s in terms of pen, and it didn't even have prem rounds, so it was useless in tier 9 and 10 games. So, yeah. And they're getting overall better gun handling, so that could make this thing more interesting. Now, here's the biggest one: Germany. Germany, all of the Tiger-based vehicles are getting buffs to their turrets. The Tiger 1, Tiger P, and the VK3001P, they're all getting buffs to their turrets. The Panther and Panther 2 are all getting changes to their gun handling, and the Panther 2 is getting, you know, the 88 L100 and the E50 that no one ever used. The Panther 2 is getting that gun, so that could make it very, very interesting to play. It would actually play into the sniper role this thing has to play. The Indian, the VK3002D, and the VK3001D are all getting mobility buffs, and the Indian Panzer is also getting gun handling buffs because the gun handling on that thing isn't great, and it's also pretty slow as well, which is one of the other reasons why I didn't like that thing very much. The E75 is getting changes to its gun handling, making it a wee bit better, which is probably to make it more competitive with the new mouse gen and the updated VKB. E100 is getting more pen on its 150mm, as well as improved gun handling for the 128. There's some changes happening to the mouse, but we don't have much information on that. We have some brief information about the VK100 and the mouse gen. I'm looking forward to grinding these. I hope they don't just give them to me for free. I'd be sad if they did that, because I really want to grind through these two. Because it's been a long time since I had the pleasure of grinding through a German heavy tank line, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. And I'm also looking forward to getting to the VKB again and going up to the Panzer 7, because the Panzer 7 is basically, have you ever seen the VK7201K, the reward tank? It's basically a non-premium version of that. So that could be really, really interesting. And if you don't know what the VK7201K is, here it is here. I'll just show it in the garage so you can see it. So yeah, I think it could be a very, very cool little tank. And if you don't know how to fight one of these, just shoot here. I'll just show you that here. Just shoot here and you'll pen almost every time. It's thick, but it's got no angling. It's basically like the Luva's weak point below the turret, but it's much bigger and it's much easier to hit. And with tier 10 guns, it's no problem to go through every single time. It's really, really easy to take advantage of. It's got 5 degrees of gun depression to the front and 7 to the side, so interesting machine. And it's got 43 km/h top speed. Pretty bad rate of fire though, and yeah, overall pretty interesting tank. I look forward to seeing what's like if they ever follow through with this. I'm not hopeful because Wargaming has said they'll do things like this in the past, but haven't really followed through on them. Like the mouse gen when it was originally introduced, they originally stopped putting it in because it was too strong versus tier 7s, which makes this thing all the more fucking ironic. Like this thing here, oh yeah, this thing here will be totally balanced versus tier 6s. Totally balanced, won't break tier 6 matchmaking completely at all. Like this thing here will be totally fine versus tier 6s. Not like tier 6s have only 170 pen, whereas this thing here has 200 minimum armor basically everywhere. So yeah, totally balanced, no problem. But this thing here was removed because its armor was a bit too strong. At least they thought it was too strong. I didn't think so, honestly. But it had a 15cm gun that didn't have a heat round. It only had AP and HE. So I think they've removed that gun from the mouse gen and they've just left it with a 128, which I think is a bit boring. But I just to see what to do. And there's some changes happening to the mouse in terms of armor and rate of fire. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're ever going to give the mouse the 150mm gun. I think it should have, but yeah, I'll take a rate of fire increase because this thing here has been kind of meh for a long time. I'm looking forward to maybe being able to use the mouse again because I love the mouse. The mouse was fun when it wasn't totally power creeped. The VK100 could be very, very interesting. It's actually in the game files as far as I remember. Let me just check. VK100.1p, here it is. The mouse chain, as far as I remember, is not. I'll just look out of curiosity. The mouse chain is not in the game files yet, so only look at the VK100.1p, sadly. So, pretty cool looking tank. Big giant gun, 128mm, with 210 pen, 490 alpha. So it could be a very, very cool machine, and it has. It looks like something that would fit in the mouse line. I mean, look at it. It just looks like something that would go in the mouse line. It actually looks really cool to me. Looking forward to having a go on it. So yeah, looking forward to this. Looking forward to the mouse chain. Okay, now on to the changes to the VKA and the VKB. VKA is getting enhanced gun depression and is getting enhanced front armor. The VKB is getting enhanced side armor and enhanced turret roof armor, I think. From the way I read it, that's what it seems to be. Let's see. I'll read this wee section here. The VKB is getting better gun handling as well as thicker side and top turret armor, but because of this, it's getting nerfed lower plate armor. So I guess that's to make it more in line with the Panzer 7 as they're calling the non-premium VK7201K. So interesting. The VKA is getting improved gun depression and thicker front turret armor, and they may add the Tiger 2 105mm to it. Maybe. I'm hopeful they might do that because I think that would be interesting to have. Although I suspect its gun stats will be worse than the Tiger 2's because the Tiger 2 is going to be slower than this thing and probably end up having slightly worse front armor than this thing in the future. So yeah, I'll be curious to see what they do with it. So yeah, I think I've gone through all the changes, and here is the change to the mouse I was talking about. That's why the mouse will be placed after the mouse gen. It will also receive a shorter reload time, better gun handling, and thicker frontal armor. As long as that's on the turret, I think that will help the mouse a lot. I think it'd be a bit weird if they, well, unless they slapped a bunch of tracks on the lower plate, in which case that would actually make sense. But yeah, that was the only real weakness to the mouse, and the annoying weakness it has. I'll show you here. Where's the mouse? Where are you? Here you are. It has an annoying weakness just behind the front drive wheel, which makes it extremely difficult to actually use the ridiculous side armor it has. Because somebody can just shoot here and pen every single time. It's really, really annoying. And if you over angle slightly, it's a guaranteed pretty much pen for anything with like 200 and I've actually killed a mouse before in an LTTB by shooting here because I was on lower ground. I was just able to pop shots through there and pen every single time, and I killed a mouse doing that. So yeah, and considering I would struggle to pen the rear armor of a mouse, but I could pen here. I hope they take away this weak point because it's kind of dumb. So let's just hope that they have some sense. Although this thing here is making me wonder if they do have sense or not. Let's see. I think I've covered everything to cover with these vehicles. I don't think I missed anything. Let me know if I missed anything. But yeah, here is one of the most exciting changes I have seen in a long time. Read it and just I don't have words. That's so nice to read. 3 RDs maximum per team. 3 RDs maximum per team. No more 5 artillery fucking games on Prokhorovka where you're in an E100 and get nuked by 5 fucking artilleries. Finally that situation's gone. That situation was such horseshit. I had a situation once in the E100 and once in the mouse, ironically, because I had both of them at one point. E100, I drove forward, trying to get to the place where I could shoot up the hill. Batchat RD tracked me while the other two while the Conqueror gun carriage and T-92 just nuked me. The Batchat finished me off because the other two took off 1,000 of my health each, while the 4 shots from the Batchat RD just slowly took away my health and then killed me. The mouse, it was a little bit worse. I got an AP round to the front of the turret from Object 261. The Batchat RD just put shot after shot after shot through the roof of my hull, so it just took away all my health, and then it was finished off by a T-92. like a double kill on me and a light tank that just happened to be passing by. He killed both of us, and he didn't even hit me. So yeah, I was annoyed about that. And those were 5 artillery games where like there was a couple of Batchat arties, I should say, in the first one. There was 2 Batchat arties just constantly nuking me, and there was a platoon of Conqueror gun carriages that were also nuking me. At least that situation will also be a lot less likely to happen. Well, actually, it'll be impossible to happen in the future because there'll only be 3 REs per team, which is fucking awesome. Um, so yeah, let's see. They're trying to improve the chances of a 50-50 game. So the current system might balance 2 teams with 5 TDs against six heavies. The enhanced system spreads vehicles across teams so that both teams have TDs and heavies, though this doesn't necessarily mean there will always be equal numbers. Well, yeah, that just makes sense because it's not really possible to guarantee that because not everybody plays the exact tank that the matchmaker is looking for. I suspect this may um, actually be kind of annoying for queue times. Queue times make it a wee bit longer, but I don't see them getting much longer. I don't see them getting much longer at all, really. But this year, yeah, it could be interesting. Not really sure where they're going with this. Let's see. It's improved matchmaker design. 357. 3 top vehicles top, 5 in the middle, and 7 at the bottom. Oh yeah. That makes sense. Like the main design philosophy of water tanks for a long time was just Q times, 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 Q times. Like, and that's one of my favorite things about the game. Just you click battle and you're into a game in typically like 5 seconds. It's awesome. No platoons with vehicles that are more than 3 tiers apart. That's always a good change. Thank fuck they're finally doing that. And there is sandbox test 2 changes to artillery, new consumables that could be used several times per battle. Oh, that'd be interesting. Changes to accuracy, penetration, loss over distance, and the revised rule that was first revealed in 9.7 contest. Penetration stats and great accuracy of top and mediums tends to allow them to hit and penetrate the range. Picking their penetration, okay, raising the role of armor in the game. That's the idea of this. For artillery, testing the stunning feature. So it's different. Oh yeah, that's also a good change. It's kind of like the Armored Warfare style of artillery review, so that'd be cool. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I need to go over for this here. So overall, some pretty cool things, although some things do worry me. So overall, I think very cool. I think this could be a very cool little machine. I'm actually just going to check out of curiosity. Is that thing in the game files? Let's see, where's tier 8 tank destroyers? It is not. So yeah, I think that could be a very cool little thing. This thing here, as I've said a couple of times now, terrifies me. I don't think they should put this in the game. I think it's a terrible idea. But yeah, overall, pretty good changes for the most part. Oh yeah, and this is something I forgot to mention. Light tanks will now go up to tier 10, which is an awesome change because finally light tanks, I think this basically means that light tanks will get normal matchmaking like normal tanks, which is awesome because I just think that should be how that I think that's how it always should have been. They extended artilleries from tier 8 to tier 10 years ago because it just made it easier to like make teams. I was honestly amazed it took them this long to do it with light tanks, but thank fuck they're finally doing it because they should make light tanks more competitive because they'll be balanced versus their peers instead of being balanced versus their peers of a higher tier, which was always weird to me. And also maybe the light tanks at tier 10 will actually be able to take a shot from a Jagdpanzer without dying in one shot. I did that the other day. It was hilarious. At tier 8, I think it was an M4190 Grand Final. I fired one shot and knocked him in one shot. In my Jagdpanzer, and I laughed flat out for a full 2 or 3 minutes because I was just laughing at the guy because his turret just rolled down the hill after I shot him. And the thing is, I would have killed him in one shot anyway because he had like rammed somebody on my team and lost a little bit of damage, a little bit of health. He had like 1,000 health, but I wrecked him, which made it even funnier. So yeah. Uh, so anyway, that's pretty much everything I have to say. Longish video, but I think I covered basically everything I need to talk about. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.